2 days down at this year's Windup Watch Fair, New York City, the 10th anniversary of the Windup Watch Fair in New York City, with the third still to go. And as you can see, I'm a little beat up already. The set is in shambles. There's watches on the desk behind me, and I'm recording into a handheld Zoom instead of my normal microphone. But I'm going to walk you through some of my highlights from the show, which has been pretty crazy so far. There was a line wrapped all the way around the building with the back actually touching the front at one point. G-Shock brought a weird fish tank with watches submerged inside of it that you can walk up and actually see bubbles dripping inside of right next to that tank that drops the watches pretty hard. And it's been a pretty fun event filled with panels, including the 10-year anniversary panel where a bunch of the brands from the first ever Windup Watch Fair sat up there and talked about their experiences then and now, and kind of gave their predictions for what the future of the watch industry looks like. That was a panel that really spoke to me personally, but we also had the founder of G-Shock up there amongst a bunch of other awesome people in the industry. I'm going to walk you through some of my personal highlights from the show though that really have stood out to me so far, but like I said, there is still one more day left at the show, and I'm sure there's plenty I haven't seen yet that I'm going to want to share with all of you, so stay tuned for a future video. First and foremost, I do have to mention that my friend Justin Souter's art, the incredible artist who painted this Omega Planet Ocean behind me here, that is my personal Omega. He does a lot of custom paintings for people in the watch industry. He is there at the fair actually selling prints. It is of the Rolex Submariner from the James Bond series, the original one with the NATO that's just a little bit too small. He's been crushing it there. It's been really cool to see him in his element, talking to people, talking about the prints that he sells, talking about the paintings, and of course, talking about watches the entire time. I love having this in the backdrop here. Hopefully you guys have noticed it and taken note of that as well. I love staring at it every single day, and I love the fact that it has become a part of this video series that I get to do here on YouTube. The second thing, and of course the first watch that really caught my eye that I want to talk about, is the Denizen capsule collection out of the Dual Time series. It's stone with an onyx dial with a little bit of lacquer and a pop on the right hand side. You can get it with a red, with a pink, or the teal, which is the one that I actually tried out. I actually really like these watches, even though previous versions of the Denizen Dual Time didn't really speak to me. And then you put it on that mesh for under $1,000, and I think these are really compelling pieces that honestly just look like a lot of fun, and they look like a higher horology brand, Moser, without really costing the higher horology price. Another buddy of mine, Brock Stevens, is at the show. He goes by Deep Sea EDC on Instagram, and he's showcasing his first ever collaboration watch with Jacques Bianchi. Now, this is a diver that he has actually designed himself in collaboration with Jacques Bianchi, but he's using his experience from being a Navy diver, putting it into a dive watch, and then releasing it out there in a limited edition collaboration series. It's a watch that at first, when he told me about some of the details, I wasn't quite sure on, but as I've gotten to play with it, I've really kind of fallen in love with this design. Don't tell him that. And I'm going to be taking one back with me and doing a full hands-on review for Worn and Wound, so stay tuned for that in the future. A watch that came out of left field and absolutely surprised me, but I love to death, is the Derike & Co. Capri. It's a small, rectangular, beautiful watch with a curved sapphire, a venturine dial, Le Jouperet movement, and comes in right around $2,000 or $2,500. I'm not entirely sure on that one. It's such a surprise to see from a brand known for more of their cartoon style watches to have such a serious Cartier tank style contender out there on the market. It's a watch that I genuinely think I might have picked up if they had it available at this Windup Watch Fair, and I might be picking up in the future. The next one was the Laurier and Grand Central Time Roosevelt. It is actually styled after the Grand Central Terminal. It has a bronze case and a textured dial, meant to age over time just like Grand Central has itself. It's a pretty cool limited edition, and it's not very Laurier, which I kind of like about it, and it's only available through Grand Central, which I think is also a pretty cool thing for Laurier to do. Surprisingly, Spinnaker really did catch my eye with their new Sakan collaboration for their 50 Phantoms 3rd edition. Now this one comes in two different sizes. There's a smaller version and a larger version. The smaller with the Miyota for a slightly higher price point, and the larger with an NH35, I believe, with a slightly lower price point. Now the smaller one actually has more case details built into it, a little bit more lume, while the larger one is a little bit more basic, but I think these are actually the best out of the entire collaborative bunch. They have really creative lume, a really interesting bezel, really fun dial designs, and on the back you actually get a little bit of luminescent material on there and a little bit of phosphorescent material too, so it's a pretty fun watch to play around with. Sure, the bezel's a little bit slick, so it's not the most usable, but honestly just a really cool collaboration watch, and again, my favorite from the trio that they've done so far. And then last but not least, I have to give a shout out to Clemens for their new Photic Diver. I love the Clemens Monroe. That's been one of my favorite watches in the micro brand space for a little while now, but the new Photic Diver just takes it to another level. This watch is now right around 39.5 millimeters, which means it's a little bit better suited for my wrist. Comes in a slew of really fun colors, but the bezel action is great. It's really well finished, super clean and legible design, and it still takes that classic Clemens style, but puts it into a dive watch in a pretty unique way. And those are really just a few watches that I've seen over the course of 2 very hectic days where I'm running around, interacting with brands, interacting with all of you, and really covering the fair. So I'm going to be seeing a lot more tomorrow, and obviously posting a whole lot more on my Instagram, posting more on this channel, and hopefully doing a deeper dive on some of these watches in the near future. So stay tuned for that. Next week, I'll be back with another collection of stories from the watch world for another time well spent. So I won't spend any more here talking about a few little hints of watches, and rather I'll let you go explore them on your own, because I know your time is valuable and I really appreciate you spending some of it with me here. So until the next one, peace.